Welcome to the We Heal for All podcast. My name is Liz Moyer Benferhat. It's emotional and spiritual tools and support for those who feel the world deeply and want to be part of her change. I am joined today by such a dear and beautiful, beloved friend, Shawna Emerick. Welcome, Shawna.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you for having me. I'm thankful also that I'm prepared with my handkerchief.
So smart. I
That
got roll
already
tissues right
that
here.
already oh nice. That already made me emotional and feeling good and connected, but thank you. It's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. This is so beautiful. When I started to feel into the theme of this month within my series of reflect, practice, conversation, I knew I wanted to have the conversation with you. Because really, this theme this month for me has been this question of, as I quiet myself and really slow down, what is the prayer that I'm holding these days for what's happening in the world and for each of us? And what I arrive at, and really this question is around like, where do I direct my spiritual energy? What kind of vision, what kind of felt sense knowing do I hold in my heart center day in and day out? Really brought me to this prayer of, may everything that's happening right now bring us closer to our souls, into a deeper relationship with our soul's connection. And so I really think of you, Shawna, and I want to give a little introduction too, so those who are joining us have a sense of just the amazingness that you are. But I really see you and know you to be both on a personal level and on a professional level, someone who really leads and lives from this practice of connection with soul, both
Thank
in
you.
your own life. You're so welcome. It's just it's something I receive from a lot from you, and I know you support others in doing so too. And so before I even go any further, because I'm just like, I can feel it's so
Yeah.
packed, I'm
Yeah, I'm
so
like,
ready.
whoa.
Yeah, I feel. So a little background about Shawna. Shawna is a yogini. She's a dancer. She's a Thai yoga bodywork therapist. She's a life coach and a dreamer, spiritual activist and explorer, an Ohioan and a New Yorker. She's a daughter, a sister, a mother, a wallfly, a leader, a world traveler. And you may know her if you are in the New York City area, especially the Uptown area, for her amazing yoga classes that she does around the Uptown area. She hosts retreats and facilitates workshops. Her and I have had the pleasure of co-facilitating a lot of stuff together. So a lot of circle series, yeah, whether it was on the winter solstice or racial justice. We did a retreat together. And then one of the other things that Shawna does is through her coaching sessions, her A.L.I.G.N coaching sessions, A.L.I.G.N, she helps her clients become their own guide, become their own coach, their own guru, really through this connection with soul. So yeah, I mean, I think I think that says it all.
Thank you.
Connection with soul. Let's talk with Shada.
It's always so interesting to have things reflected back to oneself and also to be just like where I'm at today with listening to it. And now when I listen to it, I see faces and I see places and I see us together at that retreat. And the seeing is also like the feeling, what that moment felt like in my body, in my heart. So thanks. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I mean, maybe we can even play with that felt sense imagery, the felt sense in your body. And as I was dreaming into these questions and thinking about them, I was really seeing even this first question as something that you and I do in circle practice together too. Of really dropping in a seed of a question and inviting folks to share and speak from what's alive in their body, what's alive in their heart, seeking to put aside or rest maybe rehearsed responses or what the mind thinks that one should say, and really move from that place of just felt sense knowing or felt sense exploration. And so I'd love to start us there of connecting with soul. I'm wondering when you hear that, what image or imagery, felt sense comes to you?
Yeah, for me, it's the oneness, it's an essence, it's something that I can feel very separated from when it comes to personal situations or events or the state of the world. I can forget that it or I am there. That peace, that essence at best is so hard to describe because some will differentiate between soul and spirit. For me, it really feels like one and the same. And so it is that divine, or I like the word source with capital S, in me, that is in everything and is all around and in every sentient being. It's alive, and it can have, and for me it does, an embodied or a physical felt presence many times. Sometimes it's just energetic. So I might not be able to describe it as something physical. Sometimes it'll feel like a physical tingle, crown of my head, or like the an excited pulse of my heart, just to give a few. But yeah, and dropping into that, that's part of why in like you brought in the A.L.I.G.N, and I intentionally alive, loving, imagined, guided, nurtured is the acronym, and the G of guided is intentionally capitalized because it's that. In yoga, we say, I am that, that am I, with the capital T, the capital I. It's call it spirit, source, God, divine, universe, providence, life, love, or however you might see it or feel it, and continually nurturing relationship and connection, call it self. Yeah, it's a continual practice, and the more we nurture, the deeper the trust and the deeper the familiarity. So then I can more easily access, but also understand what I am feeling. And I feel that that's why the G is capitalized, so that there's more trust built with self, but also more compassion. And since I have had the honor of reading your February words before it's released, it's that soul level that we also can reconnect to remember our innate goodness and life's innate goodness, and starting there. So when I become overwhelmed, when I become agitated, when things shift and it's unpleasant, because those shifts are what can pull me away from it very easily, let alone own internal dialogues. But these events can be so heavy, so overwhelming, whether it's in our personal life or, yes, I mean, where we sit today at this moment, the time of history that we're living in, those practices become, in my opinion, necessary. And they become these helpful tools and resources for us to lean into, and to support us through these times.
Yeah, I appreciate all this. And it makes me think about, and I wonder if you'd be open to sharing when we were texting and catching up recently. I know that there was a beloved family member who passed for you recently, your dear sweet dog, Astro. And I remember as we were texting, you said something that I thought was so profound. And it was in the context of this too, in the context of these times that we're living in and all that it is kicking up in us, all of the experiences that we're having around it, all of the heartbreak and the horror and the things that bring us to our knees and even make us feel numb and flat at times. But really, these just strong experiences. And you said, my eyes are really open right now. And it made me just think about this relationship between grief specifically, but again, any of these anything big that moves us. You know what I mean? It could even be big feelings of anger and rage and just et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But I wondered if you would be willing to speak on that a bit, just grief
Yeah.
and the relationship between the soul and connecting to one's soul.
Yeah. Yeah, it was that's who visited just as we were in between
Mm,
what we were speaking just a moment ago and this moment is I
mm,
felt his presence. And that was very comforting. So our dog Astro was really like my first child. And we had him from such a young age, probably younger than one, and he passed away almost 15 years old. And what I feel is the warmth of his body. What I feel is the softness of his fur. And I feel his mass, his material body.
mm.
And that is so comforting. And it's not here anymore. And so even though I have a little tuft of hair saved, it's not the same kind of hug and hold that I was, thank goodness, able to offer him as he passed. I had the wonderful privilege opportunity to my whole family to be here at home and to help him transition and to hold him as I wanted to. That moment is what comes up when you ask this question, and my eyes being open is real metaphor for sensing that soul essence, even in Astro, even in myself, like even in that just that moment of loss, but feeling that deep presence of love, feeling and gratitude, and almost that eyes open of like, this is what's important. This is what's important right here. This connection, this feeling, this is everything. And so it also is eyes open because for me, and this is how my inner worlds and realms work, is I'm holding babies. I'm holding humanity heart, if that makes sense. Like for me, that's what it
Yes.
feels like. I'm holding humanity's heart. We each have that capacity and capability because the heart space and love is an infinite well. As I feel that, that's also part of the meaning of heart open or eyes open rather is what is heart open?
Mm, mm, mm,
It's eyes and heart open to the suffering
mm.
that is happening and not wanting to turn away from that.
Yeah.
Knowing because I have that soul essence that we all have, that it's around us all the time, I can be with the suffering as well. I can be with Asher's transition. I can be with the pain and the suffering of the world as much as I hate it, as much as I don't want it. I can also hold it and then have choice from there. And that could be a whole other
Yes.
conversation and element and piece to it. But
Yes.
with eyes
Yes.
open and the soul sense and the heart open, that's yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I really felt such a soberness, like the sober reality, really being with everything that's happening, whether in our own backyards, to the country at large, to the globe, and really just, yeah, soberly being present with it, not looking away, not turning a blind eye, not pretending that it's something that it's not. And that doesn't mean discounting or not including all of the beauty, all of the resource, all of the positive progress. And it's not about that, but it's also not bypassing the suffering
Yeah.
and the heinousness and in some cases. And so there's something to that there. I think as a culture, there's such an aversion, understandably so, towards pain. in spiritual and consciousness communities, right? There is the desire to stay high vibe or to, transcend above it all. But there is a real opportunity here too within this.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a couple of people, even just this morning with a client, and organically that word acceptance coming up,
Mm.
and how we were talking about acceptance has this myth that it's giving up. If I accept, I've given up. I can't do anything about it. I disagree in how I meet that word acceptance. I like your word sober with that. I have met the reality of what is. I'm not looking away. I can name. I like to name. This is what is. This is how I feel. This is what's happening. Whether it's a microsecond of our day or naming what's happening in the collective and real world events as they're unfolding. That acceptance of just naming can sometimes be a grounding practice where I can even just begin to wrap my brain around something, especially when it hurts the heart so deeply, especially when it cuts the heart so deeply. It's easier when it's like naming something and this is really fabulous, this is really awesome. Then it can be the way like I don't want this to end. Yeah, and I'm thinking of another person I was supporting at one point of this, where the overwhelm was so overwhelmed. What I ended up asking that person is, who really was feeling the weight of the world events, and this is a person who lives in the United States. So they have a living situation that is safer than other areas of the world, where they are not under attack, etc. And I asked just the question, like, do you feel that this moment right now is helpful? And I didn't mean that in like an attacking way. Really, what that question meant was for them to reconnect at that soul level and to include themselves in the midst of things, and to see how where they were at that moment, it was unhealthful for them, and it was causing stuckness and fear to lead the way, and there wasn't any movement. They felt incapacitated. I can't do anything.
Too much, too
There's
big.
nothing I can
Right,
do, right?
right.
So in that moment, in that context, that question landed in a way for them that was able to reconnect them to like their soul essence, and to see that they also did have abilities. And then guilt at a certain point was also therefore released, because they were feeling the guilt. Well, my life is as such. Who am I to deserve happiness?
Mm, mm,
Who am I to deserve this moment where I'm okay when others aren't?
mm.
So, making that pathway to be able to release enough of that guilt and to turn it in a way where I invited what if, and just inviting, trying different things on. The next moment that you have a happy moment, no matter how big or small, doesn't matter. What if you make it a dedication to these others around the world that you care about, that you feel the weight of their situations? I mean, there's a couple of different practices there, I guess, and I'm
It's
needing
so
my,
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, so
it's,
beautiful.
yeah, I'm just, it's the both and,
It's the
um,
both and.
yeah,
It's the both and. And what I also really heard and what you shared is supporting this person and supporting each other, supporting ourselves to be shaped and changed and affected by what's going on, but in a way that is constructive, in a way that does actually support forward movement. And even in these subtle micro moment kind of ways, even in what we hold in our mind's eye and in our heart center, and therefore embody as we move about the world. I just got chills. It's not for nothing.
Yeah.
It's not for nothing.
It's not. And the reason why I'm smiling is I thank you for your words because that person I was supporting and myself, like at the end we were kind of laughing because we said like we signed up and we said yes to life. Like we're
Yes.
saying yes to this. We're saying yes to feeling all this.
Yes.
And let's celebrate that as much as moments are going to really hurt. That's why I love your writing for this month and that word shape.
Mm.
Like letting eyes open, heart open, and these experiences shape. Using practices to keep us connected to soul level to ourselves and allowing that also keeping us open to others and to
Yes.
the events that are unfolding.
Yeah, this is all so beautiful. And it makes me think, I could imagine that there are some folks out there who are like, okay, Shauna and Liz, cool, cool, cool. I get it. I'm on board. But how? Like,
Yeah,
how do we actually do this in practice? What does this look like
yeah.
day to day? Yeah, maybe you could share any practices or tips that you find helpful, that your clients find helpful, of just that connection to soul, especially with everything that's going on.
Yeah, and some of the examples, because I'm just thinking of listeners or viewers, like some of the examples that I've given really supported that person at that moment, and that might not be for everybody. It's helpful to remember or seek out, support, etc., to add more tools into the toolbox, more resources, or just to have the support. With that being said, that those were examples of things that supported those people in that moment that they needed. Some of the daily things, nothing is too small. Nothing is too small. Absolutely. Like I feel it in my body. I want to like shout it from the treetops, mountaintops for the people in the back.
Yes, yes, yes.
Nothing is too small. I have moments where I too feel like I'm not doing enough. And so I put my hands on my heart like I do now, because I feel that in my heart that I am not doing enough. I wish I could do more. I should be doing more, and that just compounds within me, and that's not helpful. So, hands on my heart, taking a breath. I'm thinking of, my two kids. Astro, yes. My partner, he's at work. They're at school right now as we're speaking and conversing, and nothing is too small. So I might hug my kids, tell them how much I love them. I might do that for myself and say words like, it's okay, I'm okay, or just name the moment. I'm just washing dishes. I'm just walking to go pick them up. Nothing is too small. And I feel deeply, especially in my work and with people, cultivating individualized pieces of support, call it homework or practices, rituals that are suitable for them and what they need at that moment. But some other just daily ones are taking that breath, wiggling. I do wiggle my toes in my shoes as a grounding practice, just some
Love
little
it.
little movement, roll my shoulders, feel my body that in that way with some movement or the hand on the heart, something that feels reassuring when the fear comes up. Or it might be a more longer seated meditation, like just to breathing, or I might do a visualization meditation. Sometimes my practice is instead of listening to the news, walking back from dropping them off at school, and I sense my own overwhelm, I turn it to music, my favorite music, and or just some uplifting music
Yes, yes.
to support my mood and my mental focus to switch. Sometimes it is just a word. Sometimes it's just inviting myself to stay open to what is around me and seeing that innate goodness in life so that I catch that person who just held the door and I say thank you and I try to look them in the eye. Or if it's just saying thank you to my partner, like thanks for putting the dishes away, which he did this morning. That was so great. Like, you
Yes.
know?
Yes. 100%. I love this. I love this. And I love what you're saying too, that it's going to look different for each one of us.
Mhm.
And it's going to look different for different seasons of our lives, different parts of the day, even. And
Yeah.
so, just that exploration of, I mean, I can think back to different parts of my life of where different spiritual tools meant something to me in a way that they don't anymore. Well, everything that you're sharing too really makes me think about just the circle space that you and I have been in together. And I'm going to beat this drum as long and hard as I can, but everything that's going on these days is just too much for any one of us to hold on our own.
Yeah.
We're not designed to, and we're not meant to. And so the beauty of community space in general, but especially community space that's designed in a way to support us to slow down, support us to, the word engage is coming to me, but really just be with what's happening in a way that brings these other intelligences, brings the intelligence of our body, brings the intelligence of our heart, of our spirit into the mix, is a way to connect with our souls, is a way to make that kind of soul level connection with ourselves and with what's going on in the world. And then also with the other people who are there. The cool
Yeah.
thing about living in this time when so much of us have, like all of us have so much to offer,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Where coming together like that, we can really jam on this stuff. We can really co-create. We can really, be in the not knowing together and see what naturally arises and emerges and take what feels good and what makes sense to us, again, just in that moment, and then leave the rest to rest,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. I just went through all of it as you were speaking. Like my whole body just sunk in and settled in and relaxed as you were talking about circle space. And that's such a sacred offering and what a beautiful creation that you have created. We heal for all. And these circles, I changed my life for the better. So grateful. And then riding that wave of what you were just saying up to the collective, and that is another tool. Go have a walk with your friend, call them. And it reminds me of something that I did see this morning that totally lift my spirits, were people gathering and singing in Minnesota this morning. That's what they were doing. They were singing,
Yes.
singing. It was so beautiful. Over 1,000 people singing together. They just came together in their pain that they're experiencing together. I'm experiencing that with them, though I don't live there. And just it did make me cry because I felt this simultaneous, the both and the hurt with this beauty of the coming together of the collective and just singing.
I'm taking such a breath here. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And I'm wondering, just as we're closing here, feeling our time together coming to completion, is there anything that you want to share with people? I'm thinking especially around your Align sessions, but anything that you are offering these days or that you have coming up that you'd like people to know about?
Yeah. Well, one thing that comes up, and if I forget to share, ask me if there's anything happening. So my brain will
Yes.
do that and forget.
Yes.
Um, is the awareness.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Is
yeah.
is the awareness. Like to even for me, I have developed a practice of self-awareness. Some of it, I think, was also innate in just who I am, but the awareness that I'll have after drop off, for example, to bring in that scenario and I'm feeling overwhelmed. I had to be aware that I felt physically agitated. I was walking at a faster pace. noticing that about myself. That's why circle space is so sacred and needed too, is I personally believe we're all living at too high level of vigilance, awareness, activation. And again, it's this base of awareness, and we can develop that as a skill too for ourselves and for each other, and therefore for the collective. Because as we feel that, and we'll feel the collective energy, sometimes we might get swept up away in that and then lose ourselves, metaphorically speaking, and vice versa. So yeah, just that was another thing that was coming up, was awareness. And look, my brain remembered. Yay, little celebration.
I love it.
That with awareness is always, I'm reminding people bring in the compassion. And that is, in a nutshell, to be mindful, from those teachers that I've studied with to what I share to myself and to the people I work with, is mindfulness is the awareness with compassion. So as you become aware, because that can be a thing, right? As we are more aware of ourselves, we might notice more heightened levels of emotions, and that might start to feel overwhelmed. So bring in the compassion, take a breath. You don't have to go there right now. And also, as we open ourselves to awareness of the world, compassion for self-compassion, and compassion for others. Call it kindness, consideration, compassion. Thank you.
Thank you. That is so beautiful and so needed. Man, we could just keep doing this for days.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that. But just as we wrap up here, is there anything that you have coming up or any offerings that you wanted to share and yeah, give folks a little bit more information about?
Yeah. Well, thank you for this conversation first and foremost, because it is a platform, and I'm grateful because we could keep going for days and sharing and supporting, and because this creates that positive ripple vibration out into the world. And with that, yes, I have some free offerings coming up, yet to be determined. But I also have in the spring my chakra series that supports on somatic, emotional, spiritual levels that I do each year. So I'll probably begin that in mid-April. But I always have my online and in-person classes going, my one-on-one work, and including the body work, etc. So I just thank you, and I thank the listeners and the watchers, and
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. And if you do live in the Uptown area, I highly, highly recommend Shawna for so many things. But yeah, her yoga classes are such a great way, even if you want to just get a taste of what it's like to be supported by her.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, I love you so much.
Love you too.
Yeah. Thank you so much. If you enjoyed this episode exploring collective healing, emotions, the times we live in, then let me know. Subscribe to my Substack, follow me on this podcast. I'd love to connect.